Welcome to the AutoMaps promo video. In this video, we're going to talk about what this add-on can do, how it can help you with your work in Blender, and how it can make your workflow faster. First question is, what does it do? The basic thing for AutoMaps is that it allows you to bring in textures that are related to each other for a particular material. It allows you to bring them in as a group. Instead of one by one, you can select the folder, click a button, and bring them all in a connected group using a group node in the node editor in Blender. Who is it for? This add-on is for anybody that uses image textures in their materials on a regular basis, especially if you're using multiple textures for a single material, where the textures are created in tandem and they rely on each other, especially if you're making changes to those textures in a coordinated fashion. Then this add-on makes it very easy to reload those textures or refresh them in a coordinated way so that they come in all together. It's great for people who are either purchasing texture map packs from vendors, or for people who are creating their own custom textures in an image editor. And we'll just show you a few examples right now. So this is an example of a folder with a lot of texture maps that are related to each other for one particular shader. Now, there's probably more here than you would use in reality, but it's just to demonstrate the point. And so we have a large number of texture maps in this folder, and we'd like to be able to load them into Blender in an organized fashion and with one click instead of one by one. So that is what this plugin will do for you. It will allow you to bring in all these textures in a quick and easy way, and if you make changes to them in an external program, then you can just refresh them quickly. An example of an external program for this workflow is in Photoshop. There's a plugin called Quick Save Maps, and what it does is it lets you set up layer groups in Photoshop to be automated as an export, so you can designate certain layer groups to go out as a diffuse map, normal map, reflection map, bump map. And so it's a way to export your maps while you're working on them from Photoshop. And so the idea is, if you had the AutoMaps add-on, then you could export your maps quickly from here and then quickly import them into Blender with the AutoMaps plugin. Another source for texture packs is the website gametextures.com. They sell packs of images that are related and are used in a coordinated fashion for your material, so that you'll get a diffuse, a normal, a displacement perhaps, specular, usually 5 or 6 textures in per pack. And the great news is that AutoMaps supports these game texture packs. So if you need to test out the add-on, this is a great way to get a couple of packs from them and just to test it out and see how it works for you. Okay, now we're going to look at how to install this plugin in Blender. We're in Blender right now. We're looking at the 2.70 version of Blender. The AutoMaps plugin is compatible with the 2.6 range of Blender, as well as the recent 2.70 release. The way we're going to install this add-on is to go to the User Preferences window. We're going to select Add-ons, and then we're going to look for the file. So we navigate to the folder where the Python file is, which is the .py extension. We're going to load the AutoMaps 092 alpha and install from file, and that will bring up this entry for the AutoMaps plugin. We're going to use the checkbox to enable it, and then we can close out this window. Now if we change our view to the node editor, and note that we're in the Cycles render engine. Cycles is the currently supported render engine for this plugin. We can see that we have a material set up. We've got this AutoMaps node over here on the left. We've got a couple of BSDF nodes in the middle. It's not a complete shader, but it's just here to give you the idea of how this would work. So basically, let's get rid of this AutoMaps node, and you'll see over on the side menu here, we've got this AutoMaps panel. So what we do is we go and we click Choose Texture Folder, and then we find a folder with our texture map images in it. And the great thing is we can have a folder of mixed groups if we want to, and it will sort the groups by name. So it's sorted through this folder, and it's established that there's 4 different types of groups here. So we're going to pick our sample, and then we're going to say create new AutoMap. So this creates our new map group, and all of the images that were in the folder have been loaded into this group, and we've set up a socket with an appropriate label for each one. So every one of these labels has an image output for it. And so now we can just go ahead and hook up whatever maps we want to use, just like this. And so forth. So the great thing is now, if I'm going to go out and make some changes in my image editor and resave these map files, I can just come back into Blender, click on the node group, and scroll down here and refresh maps. Now, all of the maps that are in this node are now the new ones that you just edited and saved. Another handy thing is, let's say you have a AutoMaps node set up like this. You've got your node connections made, but you want to swap out the pack with something else. Well, that's easy to do. You just click on the node, you select a new group, you click Load New Maps. Now, we've got the new group loaded into this node, and if we have the same map sockets, then it will keep the connections. So we've got diffuse, normal, bump still hooked up to our shader nodes here. And if you're using this particular group is from GameTextures.com, so if you're using packs that have similar map types, then it makes it even easier, because the list of sockets won't change because you're using the same types of maps for each group. So this is how it works, and makes it very easy to swap out image groups, image packs, and will hopefully make your workflow much easier, because you can swap these image packs in a fast and efficient manner, and hopefully this will improve your texturing and shading. Okay, now we're going to have a quick look at the naming convention we need to use for the file names for the images we're using with AutoMaps. It's a fairly consistent naming convention that I've seen used quite a bit in other areas by other people, and it's a simple pattern. It's group name underscore suffix period extension. So the group name is the name of the group that we're organizing this pattern with. So it might be brick wall number 1. It might be another pattern like concrete 73. So that group name is the name that is going to be on all of the image files in this pack. Then we have an underscore, then we have the map type suffix. So this pattern might be different depending on where you get the packs from, or if you create it yourself. Commonly it's either a single letter, could be 2 letters, could be 3 letters. So for diffuse, you might have an underscore D, underscore DIF, underscore DF. Sometimes people use color instead of diffuse for that pass, so it could be a C or a CO or a COL. And this list that we're looking at here is just basically all the options that are currently supported by AutoMaps. So we've got a few that are probably less likely to be used, like the full name of the pass, but Generally, it's going to be supported if we just use the single letter or the double letter or the triple letter suffix. And right now, we support the majority of the image types from GameTextures.com, as well as a number of other vendors. So as long as your image file names are named in this pattern, then it will work. As far as the extension goes, we can use any image type extension that Blender supports. So, you know, PNG, JPEG, OpenEXR, Targa, TGA, pretty much any image type that is legal to be used in Blender, we can import. So when we organize our image textures, just need to make sure that they follow this naming convention, and AutoMaps will have no problem bringing them in for you.